If you are afraid of getting behind the wheel, science may have some answers to help you learn how to overcome the fear of driving. While past accidents can cause fear of driving, there are many other reasons as well. If you are learned how to overcome terrifying feelings when driving, then you may understand what started the fear. These fears are actually going to act as a stimulant. Honestly, you can have a fear of driving from the idea of traveling to a new location. You can also have a fear of driving from an already existing anxiety disorder. For some people, driving alone can be the solitary reason for this phobia. Yes, it can be that simple. All these phobias are always related to conditioning method. Here, this 9 science-backed ways to overcome the fear of driving. I have good news for you today. You can overcome that horrid fear of driving. In fact, there are many ways you can do this. So, without further delay, here are ways you can kill that pestering phobia and get back to normal life. Do it again as soon as you can. Many people understand the saying, if you fall down, just pick yourself back up. We understand this saying and we try to practice this in many areas of our lives in order to be successful. It is the same with driving too. If you have an accident, it is the best to get right back to driving as soon as you have good mode of transportation. This is because the longer you wait, the harder it will be to try again. In my mother's case, she never gave it another chance and eventually forgot about driving altogether. We should never do this. Second step is positive affirmations. When you have a fear of driving, you can use positive statements to not only calm you but remind you how safe you felt before. This is in case you have experienced an accident. For others who fear driving, these positive affirmations can quell simple fears by telling you things like, you are driving the speed limit and you are driving just fine, or driving is common and I should not be afraid. Yes, it may take a while to utilize these affirmations effectively, but you can do it. Third method is to understand your anxieties. If you are prone to panic attacks when doing something scary, then your fear of driving can invoke these attacks. So, with that being said, you must know what triggers these attacks and understand the level of your attacks. In my previous videos, I have spoken in detail regarding anxiety, panic attack, etc. You try to watch those videos also so that you get a lot of insight. For instance, if you feel like you are moving up the scale of your anxiety at a fast pace, you should pull your car onto the side of the road. I have actually had to do this before, but it was not because of fear of driving. I just happened to be driving when my anxiety went full throttle. But anxieties caused by driving can accelerate much faster, and you have to understand the triggers to keep yourself safe while driving. Fourth method is to create comfort levels. Before you ever start driving, make sure you are comfortable in your car. Learning the ways to overcome your driving fear starts with a clean, soothing, and well-functioning vehicle. All these things must be taken into account before cranking the car or starting the engine, such as car insurance and preventive maintenance. Maybe you drive better with soft music or maybe not. This will depend on what makes you comfortable. Sometimes soft music calms nerves and even drowns out the noise of the traffic. If you feel more comfortable driving alone, then try that first. Unlike some people who rather drive with someone, there are others who find noisy people in the back seat to distracting. Whatever best for you, you can do it. Next one is visualize the trip. It's also called positive imagery. Let us say you have decided to try and take a small trip to the store. Maybe you have decided to try and face your fears. No promises here. You say, well, here is what you can do in this instance. First, imagine the experience step by step. Imagine opening the doors and stepping inside your car. You sit down and put the keys in the ignition. So far so good, right? Now, as you imagine pulling onto the roadway, think of every problem that could happen and find a way to overcome that problem quickly. Maybe it was one of the situations that caused your phobia to begin with. Face it head on and develop a strategy to avoid that situation the next go around. All these things are you are actually doing in an imagination. You are imagining everything. That is what is called visualizing the trip. This can help you easing the anxiety regarding the driving. Next method is to follow the progressive steps. Now that you have visualized the steps to getting back behind the wheel, you can try these in a progressive order. First go out and sit in your car, then put the keys in the ignition. Now crank the engine and wait for a moment, listen to the sound of the engine. Now drive around a short block and back home. Take someone with you and drive around several blocks. Then do it on your own. You can practice this with bridges, then long bridges. After that, you can drive on unfamiliar roads and even on bridges over water. Finally, you can muster up the bravery to drive on the big freeway. After you have mastered all that, you may even be able to drive in the rain or at night. Just take it slowly and try these steps. In CBT, these steps are called systematic desensitization. Next method is take lessons. It is never too late to take driver's lessons. These instructors can help you work through fears and also teach you things you may have forgotten. It's okay to ask questions which can clarify concerns. It is also okay to share the fact that you are afraid of driving. They can help you face these fears and learn how to get over driving phobias. Next method is to get help. Also, if your fear is disrupting your life, you will have to seek professional help. Maybe the panic attacks are coming too often, or you just refuse to get into the car for any reason. If you live alone, this could become a huge problem. You have to get help in some way. Here is where you start. First, seek help from your regular doctor. Tell them what is going on and they can point you toward the right professional help. This could mean speaking to a psychologist to get to the bottom of your phobias. Ninth method is try a support group. Why should you join a support group with other frightened people? Well, although it may sound strange, it's a good thing. Being around others who are afraid to drive will make you feel less alone. You can discuss triggers and anxious feelings in an environment where you are understood. You can make friends as well, and you can help each other remove phobia obstacles. Driving isn't all that bad. Yes, learning how to overcome the fear of driving is sometimes difficult. It can take you back to the point of an accident. Many of us have experienced an automobile collision. It can trigger feelings from the past, or it can simply arise because you are new to driving. Whatever the cause of your phobia, it can be faced with courage. If you are afraid to drive, don't give up. Remember, you can do anything you put your mind into. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and click on the bell icon for more updates. Thank you.